All right, welcome to Perdido Key Gaming. Been a couple of days. Figured I'd do some role-playing game stuff instead of Magic the Gathering. We'll do Magic the Gathering maybe tomorrow or something. Got a good one coming up. In this case, it's still not Rollmaster, but we'll get into that in a while. I'll show you some of the stuff we have. Anyway, today is Pathfinder. All right, this is kind of a strange, weird, well, maybe not strange or weird, but it's odd. Found this in, I believe, Pensacola Books A Million or Barnes & Noble or one of those bookstores. Was going in there finding some other stuff and decided to pick this up, just see what it was, because I'd seen the card game. I said, well, it might be a different thing. But it turns out this is made by Paizo, which used to do the Dragon magazine and everything like that, the publishers, those guys. And opening it up and taking a look at it, it's basically, they took over Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition, or 3.5, and this is another player's handbook for Dungeons & Dragons. They got Monty Cook in there. Remember Monty Cook from back in the day? He did a lot of Dungeons & Dragons stuff back in the 80s. I think he started in actually the 70s. You see a lot of his articles in Dragon magazine. But anyway, this, it's a player's handbook. The ability scores exactly the same as your old Dungeons & Dragons: strength, constitution, dexterity, intel, wisdom. Got your typical races. They lay out, in typical Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition, 3.5 or whatever. They're extremely ability heavy, skill heavy, not like the old, the old Dungeons & Dragons, advanced Dungeons & Dragons that they had. You had your class, your race, and that's it. You had pluses to hit, pluses to damage, and your armor class was just like yada, yada, yada. But in this case, it's the typical, that's just stupid. That's anime, big sword, right, okay. If you could pick it up and swing it, yeah, good for you. But in this case, yeah, it's the same classes and everything like that. You get your standards. They had divided up the magic stuff into wizards and sorcerers and things like that. But the good thing about, 2nd edition went to 3rd edition, which was big hoo-ha, and then they had to replace it because I guess it was badly broken, but they replaced it with 3.5. The thing was that it offered so many options, and that's what people like. They like options. They like to have a lot of different things that they can do. With the standard Dungeons & Dragons, you have what? Fighter, wizard, thief, and cleric. That's all they did. There was no real options. So when they started adding in the options, it became more interesting. And that's kind of what 3rd edition and 3.5, and I'm guessing, I haven't really looked at 4th edition or any of the other stuff, but that's what it gives you. It gives you options. You pick up feats and skills and things like that, and basically your character ends up being extremely unique, depending on, what choices you make through the character's career and everything like that. And, you could branch out and end up being a multi-class person easily. You could jump from class to class, and you picked up other classes on the way there, what they call prestige classes, I'm guessing. So the prestige classes are another option, which, people love that stuff. So when they bring in and that's one of the good things I liked about Rollmaster as well. Your characters, because of the skill system, and because of Dungeons & Dragons skill system, and everything like that, and the feats and the abilities, your your character could obviously be totally different. One fighter could be totally different from another fighter. And, you know, when your race adds in feats and abilities and stuff like that, it makes your dwarven fighter, you know, much, much, much different than an elven fighter, for example. And your gnome, you know, thief is going to be a lot different than your halfling thief and everything like that. So that's, you know, that's really basically the premise behind, you know, Pathfinder. They have a little explanation up front how it all came about, and they took over 3rd edition and branched off. It's you know, nothing hurts having a second player's handbook because of the, you know, the open-ended way that they went 3rd edition. Anybody could make a book, and as long as they, you know, the OGL, Open Gaming License, anybody could make a book and put in whatever prestige classes, feats, skills, this, that, spells, anything they wanted. You could, you know, use that system and create your own book and sell it on the open market without getting, you know, hit up in a lawsuit by Wizards of the Coast or, you know, TSR back in the day. Everybody, you know, you had plenty of things to do. There's so much 3rd edition stuff out there, you can't possibly collect it all. And, you know, this book basically tries to, you know, gives you your magic items, things like that, and very, you know, no adventures, but all the rules you need, environmental rules, all the rules you need to start a campaign. You know, basically that's Dungeons and Dragons. So it was very interesting when I bought it. I didn't even open it up when I got it. I grabbed that. I grabbed some, I think, a couple of language learning books and stuff like that out of there, because sometimes that's kind of a language learner type guy I am. I like to open a textbook. But didn't even open it, just bought it, left, and I was like, what? Okay, I read the intro, and I was like, well, I guess I got another player's handbook. So, but nothing wrong with that, and it's, you know, I think, you know, on one hand, the text is a little small for me. You got to wear glasses to see this, but in general, you know, I think this was fairly cheap too, at $20 or something like that, and you got everything you need, except for, of course, creating a campaign or an adventure or something like that. And, you know, there's, let's see, no monsters. So you're going to end up buying, this is the core rule book, of course. You have to buy the other books that are, you know, part of the game with the, you know, monsters. I'm sure I haven't done a lot of research into the monsters, the NPCs, more expansion on how to create a campaign and things like that, which is always, you know, nice. Personally, I like, you know, trying to figure out stuff myself, and when I create a campaign, I just like to start out with a few things. You got your humans, but not every human is alike, right? So, you know, some humans might be stronger than others. Some might be more nimble and dexterous, as it were. Some, you know, it's like our own world. You know, there's a wide variety of human races in the world, but we're all humans. But in that case, you know, you want to, you know, think about the way that humanity expanded on planet Earth, and how, you know, why do we speak all different languages? Why, you know, why are some languages so different from the others? So you take that and then say, okay, well, maybe there was a huge ice age, and everybody was shoved into little niches, and from there they explored, and by then you all spoke other languages and looked much different. And those guys are stronger than those guys, and those guys are more dexterous than those guys. I don't know about intelligence. Anybody can be intelligent, so it's kind of hard to say, well, this human race is more intelligent than the other. But anyway, I digress. But that pretty much wraps it up for Pathfinder. Anybody got any interesting facts about it or anything like that, hit me up in the comments. And as usual, please hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.